I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. So I assume everybody can see my screen. Your Canvas page should look something like this, but you should have a bunch of tiles for all the courses that you're taking, not just our course. Okay. I have more than one section of this class. So this is not the only version of this class that I teach. I also teach one a little bit earlier in the morning. But we should be just clicking into Math 410 section 3, right? 003. That is our section. And you will have noticed, although I did get some emails saying I can't see anything, I can't access it. It's taking me a little bit of time to build this course up and make it pretty for you guys. So just bear with me. I'm going to be continuing to work on this today and hopefully have it in a workable order for you guys. But you should see something that looks like this, although there are fewer functions because you are looking on the student side and this is the instructor side. So for now, you should see this.
What is the difference of elementary algebra and math preparation?
Good question. Okay, so let me get to that in just a second. What we're going to do here is I'm going to walk you through the orientation module, and hopefully I'll clarify, why you're seeing math 0410 and 0105, the elementary algebra versus the math prep. Okay, so I'm just going to go over here to the left, and you're more than welcome to follow along with me if you haven't already sort of gone through and clicked around. We're going to go ahead and start here, and I will start my spiel. Hopefully I don't ramble on too long so that we can get through this orientation module. So first thing, you guys are in a face-to-face class. We just so happen to be remote at this moment because of the spike in COVID cases and the Alamo colleges deciding to go remote for the first 2 weeks. But even when we come back to class face-to-face, modern math courses all have a heavy online component. You're going to have to do a lot of your homework either in the Hawks Learning homework platform, which I'll talk about a little bit later on, or in Canvas. So it's going to feel often like you are taking a hybrid course, even though this is a face-to-face course. So just know that simply showing up to lectures, whether they're in Zoom or in person, will not ensure your success in this course. You have to invest the time outside of class to work in the homework software. Okay, all of that is going to be accessible through Canvas. I will talk about that here in a moment, but just know that it's going to have a heavy online component. Okay, I'm still working on getting the syllabus up and running for you guys for your section, but I will talk about the syllabus here in a second. If you have not used Canvas before, this is basically how it goes. The left-hand side of the page, let me go ahead and annotate or write on the screen. This stuff over here that I'm boxing in, again, it has a lot more stuff than what you can see on your side of things because I've simplified it for you. But this is what I will refer to as the left-hand navigation panel. It has all of the links that you're going to need to sort of navigate the Canvas course. Most of the stuff that we're going to be seeing as far as course content is going to be here in modules. And if you got here to this lecture today, then you've already become familiar with the Zoom link here. Okay, so everything is essentially set up into these modules, and I am working on publishing or making visible to you guys that content that we're going to go over for this semester. Today, we're just focusing on the orientation module. So I went to modules here and clicked on start here to start the orientation module. And then we're just going to sort of keep hitting the next button until we progress through what we need to get through today. Okay. The announcements link, which is not visible yet because I haven't posted any announcements in Canvas, is essentially going to be a list of announcements that I send out in Canvas. And essentially I use that feature to say, hey, these are the assignments that are due by the end of the week. Or to let you know, like, hey, this review for this test is uploaded onto Canvas. You have until this day to complete it, right? So it's usually just reminders that I have to get out to you. Because we're remote, at least for the first 2 weeks, you will be using the Zoom link here, which I didn't mean to click on.
Do you send the reminders to emails?
The reminders are usually going to be done through announcements in Canvas. So you're going to want to check Canvas regularly. Okay, and then I also have students sign up for an app called Remind, which allows me to basically push out a text message to your phone through that app, so that I can send out reminders for things.
Oh yeah, that'd be better. I'm about to download it right now through my phone.
Cool. All right. So if you're here right now, you've already accessed Zoom. Good job. We're only going to have remote lectures when remote lectures are scheduled. Since this is a face-to-face course, there may be times in the semester where we might have to go remote. In the event that there's like an outbreak of COVID in our class, then the department might say we need to switch over to a remote format for a period of about 2 weeks so that we can basically have that isolation period so that we're not spreading the disease. I know that we're sort of getting tired of COVID. It's been 2 years that we've been in a pandemic, but we still have to do what we can to sort of mitigate the risk of getting COVID, not necessarily for ourselves if we consider ourselves healthy and vaccinated individuals, but for those people that have compromised immune systems or the elderly. You might think that you are healthy, you might be vaccinated, but it's still possible to spread the disease to, say, your grandma if you go over for a visit. So we just want to make sure that we're being as safe as possible. It's not ideal that we have to go remote, but in the event that we have to, we have Zoom so that we can continue our lectures. It's highly recommended that when we have a Zoom lecture that you log in about 10 minutes earlier, just to make sure that your technology is up and running and that you don't have any sort of issues that prevent you from logging in. I know that students get really anxious when they pop into Zoom late or pop into class late. Just give yourself a little bit of leeway there. Okay, we're primarily going to be using this modules link to navigate the content in this course. And I will tell you usually like, hey, we're working in module 1. We're looking at this content right now. Okay, so just make sure that you understand that the way Canvas is set up is built into modules, and we will progress through the modules as we get through the material in the curriculum. There's also a link over here to MathWorld, which I have not created yet. I will create that by the end of today. So let me just write that down. MathWorld link. 410.
Is there a specific picture of the app Reminder? Because I'm looking for it right now.
It is a blue icon with like a thought bubble, like a white thought bubble that looks like a brain.
Okay, I found it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that's essentially how Canvas is set up. The technical skills that you need for this course, because it's heavily online, is you're going to need to be able to navigate the internet and access websites, download and print documents. You may have to print documents for your own uses, although that's not a requirement. Occasionally, you will have to scan things and upload those documents to Canvas. I'll talk about that in a little bit and how we can go about doing that if we don't have a scanner at home. You will have to install programs like Respondus Lockdown Browser, talk about that in a moment, to your personal computer so that we can use that for test proctoring. And then other apps that we use like Remind, Cam Scanner. There's a graphing calculator app, which we're not going to need for this class because we're not going to do a whole lot of crazy graphing at any point in this class. But just make sure that you have a computer that's reliable and available to you, that you have reliable Wi-Fi, a webcam, which is required for the testing, test proctoring software, and a scientific calculator will help. I'll talk about our loan program for scientific calculators, and then some sort of scanning utility or scanner if you don't have one. The app works really well. I'll update this page a little bit later on today, so it's not so weird towards the bottom. Okay, let's see. All right, now somebody asked the question, what's the whole deal with Math 410 and 105? So what you need to be aware of for this course is that it's essentially 2 courses. The state of Texas has moved to minimize the number of developmental or remedial classes that are offered to college students, because they found that students were getting trapped in remedial or developmental courses and not being able to progress through their degrees. So they sort of limited the number that we can offer, but there's sort of a catch-22 there. Some students do need that support of the more basic levels of mathematics. So what we've done essentially at St. Philip's and in other colleges in not only Texas, but around the country, is moving to a co-requisite model. It looks like you have 2 courses, but we're going to treat them as a single course. We're just going to treat it as elementary algebra. So this Math 105 math prep that you see on your schedule, you're going to treat that as elementary algebra, as the same class. Okay. You might also see that you're registered for Math 0001 or 0004. Those are not those are not classes. They are not classes with meeting times, assignments, or grades. It is just an accounting tool. Every student that registers for a math class at St. Philip's or in the Alamo colleges gets put into a Math 0001 or 0004. And essentially what it does is allows you access to the Math World tutoring services. And I'll talk about Math World a little bit later on. But again, the takeaway here is that it looks like you're registered for 2 courses. And technically, the way the registrar has set it up, it is 2 courses, but we're going to be treating it as one cohesive course. Okay. Now, even though this is treated as 2 courses by the registrar, the Math 105 component is folded into the curriculum of the main course, which is your elementary algebra, Math 410. Our study of algebra is mostly going to occur through Hawk's learning system. And that's going to be embedded in Canvas. Okay, so you don't have to go to another website. It's all going to be embedded in Canvas. As we encounter problems that require additional context or information, I will provide that to you guys through other supplemental topics or assignments, handouts that I'll post to Canvas. Okay. Now, while you will be able to use a scientific calculator later on in this course, the first unit covers arithmetic with real numbers. So I really want to make sure that we're building a strong foundation of number sense and arithmetic. So you want to make sure that we're able to evaluate numerical expressions like adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, which may seem simple, but a lot of students have trouble with it, especially when it comes to negative numbers. Okay. So once we start doing more complicated things like solving equations, then we're going to allow the use of calculators. Okay. But what I strongly advise is that in this course, you forget what you think you know about how numbers work. What I want to do is give you a strong foundation for arithmetic so that you can approach your study of algebra with better intuitions for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, so that you will be set up and well prepared to tackle college algebra when you get there. Okay. We'll explore things like the order of operations so that you can evaluate numerical and algebraic expressions. We'll work with numbers and variables. Okay. And as we need to, we'll learn how to graph things on what's called a Cartesian coordinate space or a grid system. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the structure of this course? Okay. 2 classes on your schedule, but we're going to treat it as 1. Okay. Now here's my personal introduction, and I hope not to bore you too much with this, but my name is Miguel Aguilar. I'm going to be your instructor, obviously, for this semester, for this elementary algebra course. I've been with the department since fall of 2017, but I have a really interesting, I think, an interesting background in that I did not get my degrees in math. My degrees, both bachelor's and my master's degrees, are in biology. I was studying ecology, evolution, and conservation. You can think of it like wildlife biology. Okay. But these fields, these biology fields that I was studying and doing research in, like so many other fields, require a keen understanding of mathematics and statistics So as I was working on my master's program, I found that I sort of became more and more interested in the background math that supported the kind of research that I was doing. Now, that being said, I would not consider myself a math person. Growing up, I was okay at math and I got by, but I don't think I had a real good understanding of formal mathematics until much later in life. And I even had to go through a period of, I did well enough in my college math courses that I was able to pass them. But after a few years had passed, I'd forgotten everything. And so when I went to graduate school and had to use math and statistics, there was so much that I had forgotten that I had to go out and buy a textbook at the recommendation of one of my math professors. And I started from square one and started teaching myself college algebra all over again. But since then, I've been able to develop a real appreciation for what is actually going on. And I think that I'm in a really good position to show you, even if you don't consider yourself a math person, that there are ways to approach math so that you can be successful, right? It might not be the field of study that you're going to go into for the rest of your lives, but I can assure you that if you dedicate yourself to this class and study, really commit yourself to studying this semester, that you will learn something that will be, at the very least, useful in some real world daily life applications. I can't tell you how many times I go to the grocery store and I just whip out my cell phone calculator because I want to do a price comparison of different products, or maybe different brands of the same product. Or times that I've gone to, get a gym membership and they're trying to sell you 2 different gym memberships, and I pull out my graphing calculator like a nerd and I just see which one in the long term is going to cost more money, right? Based on how many months do I plan to be with that gym. But there are number sense problems that you run into in your daily life, whether it's gym memberships or buying different kinds of going to different car dealerships to buy a car, or different phone, what are they called, service providers to get a different phone plan. And hopefully that will be, some of the skills that we learn in this class will be useful to you in that context. Okay. So the textbook information is listed here. You will have access to the ebook through Hawks Learning, so you don't have to purchase anything on your own. But if you do need access to a hard cover or hard copy of the textbook, I will be looking into that to make sure that I can get you the correct information on how to go about doing that. But you will want to contact the bookstore to see what they tell you about getting your hands on any hard copy or any materials for this course. Okay. And would you guys like it if I put the bookstore's information here? I'll go back and update this with the bookstore's information. Okay. Okay, now these are the course learning outcomes for this course. They're listed on the syllabus, which I'll get to here in a moment. But essentially, what we're going to do by the end of the course is be able to, use appropriate symbolic notation for and vocabulary of mathematics to communicate, interpret, and explain different concepts. Okay, so math is a symbolic language. It has a lot of vocabulary, and if you're not picking up that vocabulary, it's going to be really difficult to understand what I'm trying to communicate to you. And it's also going to be difficult for you to communicate to me what problems you're having. So you need to be very careful.
I'm sorry, my screen decided to go black out of nowhere and I had to log out.
No, you're fine. If for whatever reason you are dropped from the course or your internet is unstable, just log back in. Don't worry about it. And we'll just pick up where we left off. Okay, so the things that we expect to learn are things like operating with real numbers, whatever that means, applying numeric reasoning to investigate and describe quantitative relationships. These are all fancy words to just say, we're going to have to develop our number sense and quantitative reasoning. That is, we can work with numbers to solve problems. Okay, so I won't go too into detail about these course learning outcomes. I think that they're here for you to read on your own time. But what you will find is that by the end of the semester, you will feel very accomplished, like you learned a lot in a very little amount of time. Okay. As far as the syllabus, I need to update this because this is not the correct section, but I think it's still going to be useful for us to go through it in general. So I will update this with the correct times, and the meeting location is okay, but I need to change the times here. But there are our meeting times. Instructor, this is instructor information. This is my email address. Now I will tell you that my primary form of communication with you guys will be, once this is up and running, will be Canvas inbox. Okay, so you might notice that on the side, left-hand side of my screen, this thing over here, that says inbox, and I have 2 current messages that I have to attend to. Canvas inbox is my primary form of communication. If you send emails to this email address, I will be overloaded with emails in my inbox, and I will not be able to get back to you. So I want to just make sure that I'm centralizing where student emails are coming from, and I want to make sure that we're keeping that in Canvas. Okay. My office number is here. It's in the first floor of the science building. Although we will not be meeting in person, if we have to set up some sort of appointment to meet, we will arrange for a meeting time and meet in Math World, which is the math tutoring lab, first floor of the science building at St. Philip's campus. This is my office phone number, although I do need to set up my Google Voice phone number so that if you need to call me for whatever reason, you can do so. Right now we are remote and I am not in the office, so I will not be answering this phone call. So primary way of communicating with me right now is going to be through the Canvas inbox. Information for the department chair is here should you ever need to contact her. We have, again, the textbook information as we continue scrolling down. The math department does have a calculator loan program where you can check out a calculator for the entirety of the semester for free. So if you don't have a calculator, you may want to look into this, but we are not going to be checking out calculators until I think starting next week at the earliest. That being said, we're not going to need calculators necessarily this first week, maybe not even the first 2 weeks, because we're going to want to make sure that we do some of this math by hand. Okay. But if you need to check out a calculator, you can do so at the math department office, which again is the first floor of the science building. You will go there with your schedule and your student ID or a photo ID of some sort, a copy of your schedule, and they will give you the calculator that will work for your course. Okay. Other materials that are required for the course. Obviously, this is a math course. You probably need a writing utensil like a pen or a pencil and a notebook. I always recommend to students that you will be doing a lot of writing in this course. So at the very minimum, you will need a 3-subject or even a 5-subject notebook dedicated for this class.
You also need a binder for this class?
That is completely on you. I am not going to be looking at your notes or checking your notes necessarily. So wherever you want to have them organized, I just highly recommend that you stay organized either in a binder or in some sort of math dedicated spiral. Okay. You'll also want a computer. Obviously, if you're here right now, you have a computer, Wi-Fi access, and a webcam. Again, we will be testing outside of class using a test proctoring software, which requires the internet and requires a webcam. So just make sure that you have access to that. As far as the scanner is concerned, whenever we come to take tests, I have you guys upload your handwritten work for the test so that I can go through that and give you notes, which means that you will need to be able to scan those documents and then upload them. I recommend the Cam Scanner app. I've been using it for several semesters now with no problems, although I have had students in previous semesters tell me that they had issues with it. So There are other scanning apps that you can look at, and I suggest going with the free ones. Cam Scanner is free.
Is that meant for the iPhone?
I have it on my iPhone, but I believe it's also available on Android.
Okay.
Now, it is a free app. I assure you that. I've been using it for free for years. But like all apps, they generate revenue through ads and occasionally, maybe a lot of the time, try to get you to upgrade to the premium service, which is a paid service. So make sure that whenever those things come up, that you click on the little X for the pop-up. You do not have to pay for Cam Scanner. I've been using the free version for years and it's been fine, okay? But if you do have issues, make sure you send me a message with a screenshot so that I can see what you're looking at. Because sometimes verbal descriptions are not enough, okay? The course learning outcomes, I've already talked about them a little bit, so I'm gonna keep scrolling. How we're gonna be evaluated in this course, the breakdown is essentially 15% of your grade is gonna be homework assignments that are in this Hawks learning system. We have some tests that we're going to be doing throughout the semester, and that's going to be the bulk of your grade, okay? There are some what are called Math 105 quizzes. Those are some prep quizzes that will occur throughout the semester. I'll schedule them in between some of our topics, and that's going to be another pretty big chunk of the grade for the semester. We have a final exam, and then we have attendance, discussions, and Canvas quizzes. Just the miscellaneous stuff, that's going to be an additional 5% of the grade, and that should add up to 100. Okay, so if you ever need to know what the grade breakdown is, it is listed here in the syllabus. And just know that because the registrar treats this as two classes, Math 410 and Math 105, you will be getting the same grade for both of these things. So if you pass one, you pass both. Okay. But again, the Math 410, the elementary algebra, is the main course. So when I say when you pass one, you pass both. If you pass Math 410, you pass both. Okay. If for whatever reason you fail Math 410, and I think it's way too early to be talking about, you know, anybody failing 410 just yet. But if you were to fail that, but you did fine in Math 105, then it is possible to get an IP, an in progress for the developmental classes. So Math 410 instead of getting an F, so it doesn't hurt your GPA. I don't think
math is the worst subject for me.
And hopefully we'll be able to address those issues and get you to where you need to be, so you're a little bit more confident with it. It does not have to be a scary thing. I guarantee you that every single one of you can learn math. Okay, so we'll sort of cross that bridge when we get there as far as the grades, but this is the general grade breakdown. Okay. This is a face-to-face class. I will update this syllabus part for the census drop date. So essentially a census date or the census drop is usually about 10 days into the semester. Is basically a deadline where, you know, if you decide after the first week or so, you know, maybe this class is going a little bit too fast for me, or maybe I've had students in the past get a job offer and they had to like drop the class really early on in the semester so that they could, you know, work and support their family. You can drop this class before the census date, which I will update here after class, and it will not show up on your transcript. It will be as though you never registered for the course at all. So there's no penalties there. If you choose to stay in the class and then you sort of fall behind and things get away from you a little bit and you want to drop the class later on after the census date, then you will get a W on your transcript. And I think that the W's for developmental classes, so for Math 410 and 105, don't affect the 6-drop rule, but it may affect your financial aid. As far as withdrawing, you definitely want to talk to your advisor about withdrawing if, you know, at some point you decide to do that, because I am not the expert in how that will impact your transcript or how it will impact your financial aid. So just make sure that you can contact me if you feel like you're falling behind. But if you are getting to the point where, oh, I think I'm going to have to withdraw from this class, make sure you contact your advisor. Okay, homework policy. Most of the homework is going to be done in Hawk's learning system, which is embedded in Canvas. So those due dates will be posted as I release those assignments to you guys. Again, I need to go and mess with those due dates and look at that today. But late homework is accepted with a late penalty of about 5% for each day that that homework assignment is late, with a maximum penalty of 30%. So, you know, if for whatever reason you can't get the homework in until like a day or two late, well, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that you get it in. And if for whatever reason you feel like you're becoming overwhelmed with the homework and there's a consensus among your classmates that, hey, do you think that Mr. Aguilar can push a homework assignment back a little bit? I'm definitely a reasonable person, so shoot your shot. It's the only way to figure out whether or not I'm going to be able to push that homework assignment back. Okay. As you can see from the syllabus, there's a lot of orange text here. Those are notes for me to update this section. So I will just scroll through this. And I think that that's pretty much it. The schedule that's listed here is just a default schedule. I'm going to go in here and update this as well, so that we're on the timeline that I am used to. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit different here. So check back after tomorrow, and this will be updated with what topics we're covering on which days. Okay. And that's pretty much it. The rest of the syllabus just lists institutional policies, things about absences, early alert interventions. Throughout the semester, you may get these early alerts, which are essentially like alerts to just indicate to you, if you get one of these emails, it just indicates to you that you're falling behind and we need to do something to get you caught back up. Okay. So most of the time, you know, if things are going well and if you're staying on task, you won't get one of these early alerts. But if you are one of the lucky individuals that does get one of these alerts, just make sure you set up an appointment to meet with me either through Zoom or in person so that we can talk about what you need to do to get back on track. Okay. But you don't have to wait for the early alerts. If you feel like you're stressed and that you're already falling behind, you should be reaching out to me and contacting me as soon as possible. Again, I like to tell all my students that I'm a human being just doing a job here, and I respect your humanity as well. You do not have to feel like, well, one, I feel like students sometimes see like this division between instructor and student, and I want to make sure that you are completely aware that I am not going to judge you for whatever questions you might ask me, okay? Or anything that you need to disclose to me. I am here to support you and try to make sure that you have a successful semester in this course, okay? So do not be afraid to contact me in any way, shape, or form, right? So send me a message when things are getting out of hand in life, and I'll do my best to try to give you the support that I can.
Can I also send you a message? Like, let's say if I'm stuck on a problem, can I send you a message and do it like that?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. We can set up an appointment for my office hours if you need one-on-one assistance. But I would say that when it comes to your homework, I would direct you to Math World, which hopefully I'll have time to get to today, because those tutors are standing by, not 24/7, but 6 days a week from Monday through Saturday, and they're available at times when I may not be available to help you with your homework. Okay. But yeah, if you do need to shoot me a message and send a screenshot with a problem that you're working on, feel free to do that. Okay, it just might take me a day or two to get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. So I've already mentioned this before, but the communications in this class primarily going to be Canvas Inbox, and secondarily going to be this app Remind, which I'll have you guys download here in a second. Remind is a mobile app that allows for text message-like communications without the exchange of personal phone numbers, right? So it would be very creepy if I had y'all's phone numbers, and I think that also it would be very creepy and annoying if everybody had my phone number and was blowing up my phone. Okay, so to avoid that, Remind is going to be the intermediary that we're going to use to communicate should we need a near immediate communication form. Okay, I usually use the Remind app to just send out notifications for updates that I've made to Canvas. I will usually send out a message that says, hey, read the announcement in Canvas, or hey, make sure that you have the test uploaded and turned in by this date. Okay. You don't have to feel obliged to send me messages and Remind, although again, this is near immediate communication. So if for whatever
Sorry,
reason,
but
go ahead.
my other question is, what happens if a student has to be out for a doctor's appointment?
Yeah, let me get to that. So what I'll say is the last thing I'll say about Remind is that it's a really good form of communication if for whatever reason you have car trouble and can't get to class and you need to shoot me like a text instantly, use Remind, right? Just to give me that courtesy message. As far as like planned absences, if you have a doctor's appointment or are going out of town for whatever reason, right, you don't have to disclose to me any personal information. But I do ask that you give me a courtesy heads up of about 24 hours at the minimum, right? Just so that I have time to say, okay, this person is not going to be in class today. Okay. Absences, I'm very lenient about absences. Like if you have a doctor's appointment, you do not have to provide me with the doctor's note. Just tell me that you went to the doctor. I am not going to assume that you're lying. Why would I do that? But if you have to be absent for a scheduled test day, then I ask that you send me definitely prior notification so that we can make arrangements. Now that shouldn't be an issue because we're going to be taking tests outside of class. And usually I give you a date range of about a week or a weekend to get that test completed.
The reason why I asked that because I have a doctor's appointment coming up this month.
Okay. Yeah.
I just forgot what date it was.
Shoot me a message and let me know what day you're going to be out, and I will post you as a present that day.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it. The grade scale and breakdown has already been outlined in the syllabus, so I won't go into that too much. But for most of the time, homework assignments are going to be due. Usually I set the due dates for Sunday at midnight. So you'll just want to make sure that you are giving yourself enough time so that you're not turning in those things late. But again, late work is accepted. Don't feel like if you missed a due date that the world is going to end. Just get it done. Okay. I will be uploading a course schedule with a day-by-day breakdown of what topics we're going to be covering. So this is not available to you right now. I need to update this for the current semester. And same thing here, this is an older calendar of topics, a day-by-day breakdown on which topics we're covering on which days. Again, I will update this and post it to Canvas when it is ready to go. So you don't have to worry about that right now. And I will also provide to you guys my weekly schedule so that you know where I am and when I am available. So if you message me like at 9 o'clock in the morning and expect me to get back to you, I will probably not be able to do that until afternoon because I have a block of classes, not just our class right now, but a class that's before this one that starts at 9 o'clock. So just keep that in mind. As you send me messages, I'm going to try to get back to you in a 48-hour time period. But I am a human being and I have other responsibilities that I have to take care of. Okay. As far as this course and its expectations, I think that if you are a little bit anxious about this class, that's completely understandable and completely normal. A lot of people have math anxiety, including myself. Okay, but what I want to assure you is that whatever your past experience with math, you can do this. You can learn math. And we're going to start this course at the ground level. Okay, it might seem very basic to begin with, but it will build up into a stronger foundation so that you can be successful not only in this class, but in college algebra when you get there. What I ask and expect of you is that you take notes in class and that you ask questions. That if you're having issues with a homework assignment, then you'll want to send me a detailed message preferably with the screenshot of that problem. You can schedule to meet with me during office hours if you have questions about a problem. But first and foremost, you'll definitely want to jump in with the tutors in Math World. Okay. Just because they're always standing by. You'll want to do your homework in the Hawks Learning System, which hopefully we have enough time to get to today. If not, we'll just talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. You know, a homework problem should never take you more than 20 minutes on a single problem, even if it is multi-part. If the problem takes you that long, skip it, take a break, and go either ask me for assistance or ask one of the tutors in Math World for assistance. Okay. Because it's not going to do you any good to just sit there and just completely beat yourself up because you don't know how to do a particular problem. It's also not going to be doing you any good to make up mathematics, which happens a lot. Students just start doing things and they're not sure what they're doing or why they're doing it. You want to be very thoughtful about the things that you write down and how you work problems. Because if you just do whatever, you're going to be remembering the wrong steps. So just be very mindful of that. And just take breaks when you need them. Ask for help when you need it. Review your notes outside of class. You should ideally be studying this material a little bit every day. You don't want to, put it off till the weekend and then just cram. That is not going to work for you. That's not how math sticks to our brains. You want to do baby chunks throughout the week. Do not cram during the weekend. Okay. Something always comes up also, right? So if you put things off until the last minute, something will always come up that makes it even more stressful. The more stressed out you are, the harder it's going to be to retain the information.
For us taking notes, is it going to be a spiral notebook or a conversation notebook?
It's going to be whatever you want. I'm not going to be checking your notes. Whatever is easier for you or whatever you have on hand. Obviously, if you have a spiral notebook and loose leaf paper, then by all means, you can use that. Just do your best to stay organized.
Okay.
Okay. And then the last thing here is I just have an expectation for you guys to be courteous to each other. Okay. So during our face-to-face or our remote lectures, there shouldn't be any side conversations, which I think would be hard to do via Zoom. But even face-to-face, there shouldn't be any side conversations, anything distracting, because we're trying to get this material in. And even though we have an hour and a half together, that hour and a half is going to go by very fast, especially because I talk way too much. Okay. So just be courteous to everybody, and I will try to extend that same courtesy to you guys. The things that you can expect from me is that I'm going to always try to approach the material with a cheerful demeanor. I'm very playful when it comes to math, and I love it when students tell me the wrong things, because I think it's a great learning opportunity to correct, some intuitions that we have wrong in our brains about how the numbers are supposed to work together. So don't ever feel bad if I'm just a little bit too cheerful about when students do things wrong. Okay. I just like learning opportunities. You can expect me to answer any questions that you have about the course material without any moralistic value judgment. I'm not going to think you're a bad person or a dumb person because you can't do a particular operation. Okay. I'm not going to judge you that way. And I think that a lot of students come into a math class with baggage from their previous grade school math classes, where they just feel afraid to speak.
I'm curious, what is the dress code when we come back on campus?
Dress code? I don't know exactly how to answer that, just because it's not like a high school situation where you're required to dress a certain way. You're supposed to dress appropriately for public situations, and masks are highly recommended, although we can't force you to wear a mask. Okay. I'm going to answer your emails and other communications with you in a reasonable time frame. That's what you can expect from me in about 24 to 48 hours. And you can expect me to provide you with an honest assessment about where your weaknesses are and how we can build upon those to strengthen those skills. Okay. I'm also going to remind you daily to check in with the tutors in Math World. Okay. This page is just
How
about
can
setting
we
up.
do that? How do we check in with the tutors in the math world?
I'm
Are you
gonna
gonna
make it.
set up
I'm gonna make a link
another?
available to you guys here in Canvas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll be over here in the left-hand navigation panel. It'll say Math World. Okay. This page is just about setting up your personal settings and notifications in Canvas so that you're not getting your email bombarded with notifications. I'm not going to belabor this page too much. I think that you can read it on your own and figure that out. And then student privacy. Obviously, this is a semi-online course, so you want to be smart about what personal information you're disclosing to this sort of public, semi-public forum. Okay. You might not want to give out your home address or any account login information because that is your personal information. Although you may at times exchange email addresses with students if you want to converse with your classmates. Okay. Okay. So I think that's enough of my talking for now. Some of you guys have probably gotten into this technology check and expectations thing. So I'm going to show you in the modules where we are. We are right here at, let me go ahead and draw. We're right here at technology check and expectation. So if you have not done so already, can you please navigate to Canvas and click on this thing? It is just a 5-question quiz to make sure that you have the technology that you're going to need to be successful in this course. Okay. And we're going to give it about 5 minutes.
Do we do it right now?
Yeah, right now. I want you to do that right now. So I'm going to
I'm gonna just do it through my phone.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to take care of that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen momentarily. When you're done with that, you can just throw a thumbs up in the Zoom. What is this? A Zoom panel? Just so that I know who's done with this. Okay.
I guess you could call it a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, in the meeting. And I'm gonna jump.
So I finished this and it said I have one incorrect, which was the laptop. Because I had put HP laptop.
Yeah, okay. So with this technology check thing, I set it up as a quiz. And if you missed anything, there are no wrong answers here, right? I just want to get this information from you. I'm going to go back through that by the end of the week and give you full credit for it if you've completed it. Okay, so don't worry about any wrong answers there.
What is it again?
The technology check and expectations quiz.
Oh, okay. I found it.
Yeah. I see that 4 people completed it. Cool. So if you have completed that already and you want to move on to the next thing in the orientation module, let me go ahead and share my screen one more time. Okay. So the next thing that I'll have you guys do is read this little discussion thing on communications, announcements, Canvas, inbox, and remind. Okay, and I've already talked about this a few times. So let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. And it's just making sure that you understand how I'm going to be communicating with you this semester. I will post regular announcements to Canvas, usually weekly or bi-weekly. You may respond to the announcements if you have any questions. I will make those comments available in the announcements. But primarily, if you have questions, you'll address them to me through Canvas inbox, right? And I'll try to respond to you guys within 2 business days. Aside from that, we'll be using the Remind app. So it's just a text alert system that I'm going to use to communicate with you guys as a class and one-on-one. So you can use this link that I've provided for you here. If you click on that, you can sign up for Remind through the internet if you're on your computer. Just make sure that you sign up with your cell phone and that you download the app to your phone. That way, if I push out a message to the class, an announcement through Remind, you will get it directly to your phone. And then
I just
similarly,
completed it and I got 2 questions wrong. The
Okay.
technology one?
yeah, don't worry about the questions that are wrong. I'm going to be giving full credit for those. I just want to make sure that you answer those.
Oh, okay.
But move on to the next thing, which is the communications. And it looks like we have some people that have already completed this assignment. Cool.
Is it right underneath the one for the technology check
Yeah,
expectation?
it's the very next one.
Okay.
So that's usually how things will work in Canvas, is that I just expect you to go down the line. Okay, so to get credit for this graded discussion, this communications discussion assignment, you just need to make sure that you sign up for Remind, and to receive credit, you'll have to just copy and paste this message that you've signed up for Remind, and that you understand these 3 forms of communication. Again, you can just copy and paste them and then make an entry here. So like I said, you could just copy and paste this, click on reply, and then post your reply. I'll go ahead and delete mine.
So on the discussion details, do we have to click on the link and sign up?
Yeah, if you haven't done so already, you can either use this course code, the EA 0410-003.
And we have to register it through our mobile number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any other questions about the forms of communication? Yeah, my phone is starting to blow up with notifications that people are signing up for Remind, so this is good.
It's telling me I can use my Google email, so is that okay?
I recommend that you use your cell phone number, because these messages are supposed to be like text messages. If I've had students sign up for their email with their email, and they never get my Remind messages.
Okay, and then I'm gonna see if I can find a way to use my number instead.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to modules now. Okay. Underneath communications, this discussion, I have another introduce yourself discussion board. Okay. So this is just an opportunity for me to get to know who you are and what your experience is with math, just by answering these 2 questions. So to get credit for this, you will want to answer these 2 questions, but you also need to reply to 2 of your classmates' posts. Okay, so you'll want to check back when there are more posts here, but you just want to introduce yourself to the class. So here are the 2 questions you need to answer. What is your major? And what is your biggest challenge? What is one of your biggest challenges in a previous math course, either in college or in high school? Okay, so I've got some responses down here. Looks like we got some action going on. That's great. So make sure, if you do want credit for that, and you do want credit for it, that you go ahead and not only reply to those 2 questions, respond to those 2 questions, but also reply to 2 of your classmates. Okay. I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to basically just get through these 3 things before I move on.
It's asking me join your first class code.
Are you doing this on your phone right now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put the class code in the chat here in Zoom. EA 410. think that should be the course code. Let me double check it real quick though. Yeah, that should be right.
Mm,
And I think that maybe the Remind app gives you the @ symbol, so you may not need to put that.
I already gave it to me.
Okay, so you're just gonna start with EA 0410-003.
Thank you.
You got it. Anybody else need help with the getting set up in Remind? I'm gonna take a strategic sip of water. So once you've set yourself up in Remind, you can move on to the introduce yourself discussion board. Just start in on that.
I'm going to assume that I joined your reminder.
Let's see.
Brianna Lynn Miller.
Yeah, I see you. You're in here. Yeah, I'm going to be going through this to make sure, like, I'll assign a grade of 100 if you complete this. So tomorrow, if you don't see that you have 100 for that assignment, then I'll send out a message that says like, hey, I don't see you here in my Remind on the teacher side. So we need to figure out what we need to do to get you set up correctly. Does anybody have any questions, or is anybody running into trouble? Okay. I'm gonna describe this cam scanner assignment to you guys, but I don't know if we will have enough time to do it in class. So
What
What I
was the
just
next thing to do after the reminder? I'm sorry.
after that, go to the next thing in the list, which should say uploading documents with to Canvas with Cam Scanner. Okay, and I'm about to describe what that assignment is. Okay, so I think that this is the last thing that we'll be able to take care of today, and we'll just we'll worry about the rest of the orientation module and getting set up in Hawks for tomorrow. So this assignment is essentially intended to make sure that you guys can upload documents to Canvas. So there's 2 steps to this process. One, you have to have some sort of scanner at home. And if you don't have a scanner, then you need, you can't see this because of my virtual background, but on your phone, some sort of scanning app. And again, I recommend the Cam Scanner. It's something that you can download freely in the App Store or in the Google Play Store. Works on iPhone or Android. And again, it is free. You do not have to sign up for the paid premium version of it, okay? So while most of our graded assignments in this class are going to be done online in the Hawks Learning System, which I'll talk about tomorrow, there are occasions where you will need to upload assignments directly to Canvas. That is, you're going to handwrite some documents or handwork some problems, and then you'll need to take a picture or scan that document and upload it as a PDF file format. Okay. Specifically, after every test, I require that you upload your handwritten work so that I can assess whether you're struggling on different parts and where I can give partial credit.
Do we do that right now or?
Yeah. So what I'm asking you to do is to find some sort of way of scanning documents. I recommend that you download the Cam Scanner app. It's a free app you can get on your phone. And once you've done that, you need to figure out how to use the app to complete the following instructions, right? you'll download the Cam Scanner app to your mobile device. Then on a sheet of paper, you'll write your first and last name, just on the front page. On the front page of the paper, you will write the words front page. Then you will flip that paper over and write back page on the back side. In Cam Scanner, there is an option to upload documents using a batch option feature. Okay. Now what this allows you to do is essentially you can take pictures with your phone. You can take multiple pictures and it will compile them into a single PDF document. Okay. So make sure that you're using the batch option to take pictures using Cam Scanner so that you get a single document with multiple pages. Okay, once you've done that, you need to figure out how to get.
Is there a code that we had to enter to do this or no?
No, you do not need a code for Cam Scanner. But once you have taken those pictures in Cam Scanner and created the document, it needs to be a single document. Okay. Then you need to figure out how to move that document from Cam Scanner to Canvas. Now, some students have shown me that if you have the Canvas for Student app on your phone, you can just move them directly from your phone to Canvas using the Canvas for Student app. What I usually do is upload them to from Cam Scanner to my Google Drive. Okay, or you can send them to your email. If you do that option, you will have to download them to your personal computer and then re-upload them to Canvas. Okay, but you will re-upload them to this assignment here. So let me show you what it looks like from the student side, right? Student view. So download Cam Scanner, follow these instructions, click on Start Assignment. When you're ready to upload your file, you just select Choose File. That will open up your File Explorer if you're on a PC, or will open up your Explorer menu if you're on Mac. And then you can find the document that you want to upload. The document needs to be a PDF document, otherwise it will not accept it. It cannot be a JPEG, could not be an image file. It needs to be a PDF document. Okay. Once you have uploaded the correct file format for that PDF, then you can click on the Submit Assignment button and I'll be able to see what document you have uploaded. Okay. So let me leave the student view. So with that being said, again, with my tendency to drag things out longer than they need to be, what we have done today.
How you showed how to link it to the assignment, that you showed how to link it, is it the same way to do it through the phone or no?
Through the phone, you should be able to get on the Canvas for Students app and go to this assignment. And then there should be options to
link it?
To upload, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you will have to play around with that a little bit if you're new to this or a little less tech savvy. You'll have to play around with it a little bit. If you have trouble with it, definitely send me a screenshot of what you're seeing on your phone so that I can take a look at it and we'll troubleshoot it. Again, you don't need to worry too much about these due dates on these assignments this week. I just want to make sure that we're able to upload documents to Canvas because we will have to do that regularly throughout the semester. Okay. But that being said, what we have covered today in the orientation module is basically everything up to or up through Cam Scanner. Okay. So tomorrow we will continue and go through Respondus Lockdown Browser. And most importantly, we will get you signed up for the Hawks Learning System, which is the homework platform we're going to be using this semester. Okay. So we only have a few minutes left. So I'll say if you can get through the Cam Scanner stuff today, and get that done and submitted, you're going to be looking good. And we'll continue working on this orientation module tomorrow. Okay. If you have any questions for me, you're more than welcome to hang back and we can work through things. But aside from that, I will just see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place.